right, so let's get into the grades. Al Borges, grades for the game. Starting with, since you finished with receivers, let's start there. How did you grade Michigan's pass catchers in this game?
I gave them a B. I thought they blocked pretty well. I thought there were some times they could have shook loose a little bit better. They got covered a couple times, not much, but a couple times. I thought they could have played a little bit better, but they weren't bad. We had one drop pass, and we already talked about that. But they were pretty doggone good, I thought, for the most part. I like Michigan's receivers because they have good work ethic on things that require unselfishness, running their routes even though they may not be getting the ball, blocking the perimeter on running plays and bubbles and stuff like that. I just like the way they play when they're not necessarily catching the ball. And that's a big thing when coaching receivers, because you can get receivers that are selfish that won't do the dirty work, but I don't see any of that.
You can get receivers that won't play.
Yeah,
if it's
you
Rob
doggone
Downey,
right.
that's
You
his
doggone
thing,
right.
for sure. For sure.
The O line I gave a C because I think they can play better than they played, and I think Sharon probably tell you that they weren't terrible. I probably a C to a C plus. It wasn't terrible, but I had them as a group now. Like, remember, it's a group, not one player. I had 25 minuses among 5 or 6 different players because I think Barnard played for Trentick as he got hurt, and that wasn't again that's not egregious by any means because that's you're talking about 6 different players, but they played better than that. I've had them with less in other games. So,
well, here's what I know: Oluwatimi was grading you down for pronouncing his name. He was grading you down, Al.
Oluwatimi.
Okay, all right. So made some progress
Oluwatimi.
there.
Man,
So
get that
shout out
right.
to Olu.
Oluwatimi. I got to get that. I'm still just not the best with names, but you got to get the man's name right, man. It's disrespectful when you don't say his name right. So we got to make sure that's straight. But he wasn't a problem. I think I had him like maybe 2 minuses. He continues. God, I like him. I mean, he still continues to play consistently week in and week out and play smart, sometimes blocking 2 guys on one play and solid in pass protection. Seldom gets pushed by the nose guard. Seldom gets beat by the nose guard. Once in a while, but everybody does, right? But he's been a fabulous addition in my opinion. And that position is so critical, Sam. I mean, that guy's got to know what he's doing. He got to be physically smart, physically tough and athletic and smart as a whip. Quarterback type intelligence with athleticism. Doesn't have to be huge, but got to be big enough and strong enough. But that's how I have the line. The tight ends I gave a B minus, but I'm gonna tell you something. I really because I thought that they could have blocked a little better. But the thing I kind of get that fires me up is Schoonmaker. Is he's being used as I watch more and more like an NFL move tight end, not necessarily an inline tight end, although he does that. He does play inline some, and by inline I mean with his hand on the ground in a conventional tight end position. But he's being used like a lot of the tight ends in the NFL, like Travis Kelce. Is that his name, Travis Kelce? Like those types of guys, moving him, putting him in motion, spacing him out like a wide receiver, crossing patterns, option routes, return routes, vertical routes. And JJ has absolutely no reservation about throwing him the ball. He has as much confidence as him in routes, it looks to me, and evidence would show, as he does any wide receiver. And that's what I see as I see kind of an NFL approach to scheming Luke Schoonmaker. So I really, really like that. The running backs, for the first time, I had the running backs in the first 4 games with all A's because I could, but they were a B in this game, and really more not because they did the dirty work. They picked up the pressures, they did what they had to, but there were some missed cuts. There were some opportunities, I think, and it wasn't. Again, I'll make this sound like it was a wreck because it wasn't a wreck. There was a couple plays I think that they'd like to have back, both Donovan and Blake, but for the most part, they're still pretty darn good. I think would he have 125 yards rushing? I don't know what it was. Was that it?
Yeah, one where he ran right through the whole defense.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many missed blocks on that play. They had the perfect defense call. There were missed blocks, and he made it right.
Unbelievable now. We're going to show that. I don't think we illustrated, but we're going to show that. But they ran what I call 2 squat, which is a trap technique by the field corner where he's in cover 2. He jumps inside, and the receiver couldn't get him. No way. Okay. They squatted the free safety down into the curl area. He was unblocked. The corner who went to two squats was in a trap tag. He was unblocked. Schoonmaker got beat underneath by a scraping linebacker. He was unblocked on a stretch play. Now, what does that mean? That means he was running a stretch play or an outside zone play into three unblocked defenders. And when we show the video, you'll see what I mean. He took the ball and beat all three guys, took the ball back the other direction and ran for what looked like a damn touchdown. Now, I guess it wasn't, after further review. Oh, God, I hate that. Every time I hear after further review, I don't want to hear what the official's going to say next. It takes me back to coaching. But he took it all the way down to the 1 yard line on what was nothing short of a phenomenal run. Because it certainly wasn't blocked very well, okay? But they got him started, and you get a great running back started. Amazing what he can do.
Yeah, I mean, great defensive call and great defensive execution by their guys, and up until it came time to tackle Blake Corum.
Well, that's it.
All that went out the window.
Yeah, he went into a nearby phone booth and came out Superman on that play. And then last was JJ, who I was really excited about his play. I gave him an A- because I don't know. I can't bring myself to give him an A, but I probably could have. He had a couple of errors, but doggone it. I mean, his numbers.
Yeah, see, you're watching.
36.
You're watching now. Yards. That should be the reaction to JJ's performance in that game. When you take it in its totality, especially not just his execution of the plays, but his command of the team.
Yeah.
You're just seeing him grow before. I mean, and look, the most challenging games and environments are ahead. Make no mistake. But I don't know how you look at last week's game against Indiana, come out of it saying, oh, man, we got to see more from Jay. Sure, we got to see more, but not as a reaction to something he didn't do against Indiana, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that dude is growing.
Well, he has grown, and you can tell when you see repeat plays that maybe he didn't do as well on when he ran them before. You watch 5 games and you see bingo cross, you see wheel post X shallow run 4 or 5 times, right? You see 4 verticals run 4 or 5 times. You see Hank routes run 4 or 5 times. All the concepts that they implement in pretty much every game, so you can kind of shop and compare where the progress has been made or the progress hasn't been made. And in his case, there's almost nowhere where the progress hasn't been made. They added a new dimension to the Z-sit looky play. They ran Z-sit lion. I'll explain that later. I don't want to go into all those details now, but he grew in that play. He has now run that play 4 times, and he didn't run it right the first time, learned, and the next 3, he's been pretty much perfect. So I think his play has been all they could ask for. Okay, now it's not, it can always improve. And I watch a quarterback, and I'm hard on a quarterback. And some guys think I'm too hard on a quarterback, but if he takes 1 step wrong, I grade him wrong. I mean, he's got to do it right, or I scrutinize the position pretty hard. But he is passing with flying colors, if you forgive the pun.